What's up guys, welcome to FoundFlix. Over his 4-decade career, author Stephen King's many works have been adapted into TV shows, movies, and miniseries. Some have been brilliant, taking the original work into a new height artistically, others not so much. Talking about the Mist TV show. There's honestly so many adaptations at this point that it's hard to even keep track of, with some even falling completely into the cracks of obscurity. And that brings us to the subject of today's video, 1986's Maximum Overdrive. Just look at the cover there. It tells you everything you need to know. Emilio Estevez and a truck with the Green Goblin's face on it. Who made who indeed? And this cover is definitely one that haunted my childhood from the video shelves of the local grocery store. What can I say? That goblin truck freaks me out. And the reason this movie is so special is because it is the only film to date to be directed by Stephen King based on his works.
And I finally decided if you want something done right, you ought to do it yourself.
When King has been asked why he never directed again, his response was to just watch Maximum Overdrive. But is the movie really that terrible? No way, buddy. I mean, if I was gonna make a movie, it's like, okay, what do I need? Number one, a star. How about Emilio Estevez, who according to some article recently is the actor with the best return on investment ever? Yeah, Emilio will work. 2, a kick-ass soundtrack. Yeah, AC/DC, one of the hardest rocking bands of all time. And machines that come alive, turning evil, trying to kill every human in sight. If you're thinking that sounds like the best movie ever, you're in luck because Maximum Overdrive has all of those things. It's a fabulous slice of 80s cheese that is still surprisingly gruesome at times. And it's all the more fascinating knowing that King was the one making all these creative choices as writer and director, who during the time of production was, in his words, coked out of his mind. And there's just something about all these specific factors that come together in a strange way, creating one entertainingly insane movie. So let's dig into Maximum Overdrive, looking at the highlights and giving some insight into the movie. The idea is all the various machines that mankind have created, everything from bridges to lawnmowers, coming to life and turning against us. And as far as the cause of this, the opening title informs us that it's due to a rogue comet passing by the Earth. Well, I guess that's all there is to say on the matter. A comet made all this stuff come to life. What do you want from me? First, we see the machines uprising at an ATM machine that gives Stephen King in a cameo some attitude, calling him an asshole, which is actually hilarious.
This machine just called me an asshole!
But the main focus of the newly sentient machines are the killer trucks that descend upon a small diner in North Carolina. That's right, not a small town in Maine. It's here that short order cook and paroled criminal Bill works under the sweaty management of Bubba. Perfect name for this guy. And just look how brooding Emilio here looks with the slatted blind lighting behind him and earring. Total badass. Then, without warning, an electric knife being used by waitress Wanda comes to life, going ballistic, cutting painfully into her arm. Luckily, she's saved by Bill, who bashes it into submission with a hammer. Then, in a quite surprising cameo, our next victim in the diner's arcade is a young Giancarlo Esposito, who played Gus on Breaking Bad. His appearance in the film is very brief, ending with him being electrocuted to death by an arcade machine. Our next sequence of mechanical mayhem is one that always stuck with me, showing us some of that surprisingly gruesome side that the film has at times, where we find ourselves at a nice innocent children's baseball game. Coach heads to the soda machine to get the kids something to drink, and really, soda? Come on, that'll just dehydrate them further, coach. But he doesn't get to deliver his sugary beverages as the machine begins brutally hurling cans at him. Ooh, something about this. I can just feel it for some reason. Seems like it would really hurt. And it just doesn't stop. He is clearly already dead and the thing is still firing at him. Jeez. And then a steamroller comes out of nowhere and straight up flattens a kid. Usually this is a big deal in a horror movie, but there's just a casual nature to this. It's just like, yeah, a kid's dead. Who cares? Crank up the AC/DC and give me some more blow. Meanwhile, others are out on the road, ending up at the diner, including Drifter and love interest Brett, a supremely 80s kid Deke that escapes the baseball carnage, seeing the machine's destruction throughout his town, as well as a newlywed couple, half of which is played by Yeardley Smith, known as the voice of Lisa Simpson. And at one point, someone in the movie actually says, "Eat my shorts," if you can believe it, which is pretty amusing in retrospect since this came out a few years before The Simpsons. At the diner, it takes a while for them to figure out what is going on, but after the Green Goblin truck first roars to life on its own, they know at least something ain't right, since there's no one driving the truck and it tried to kill them. But it's not until later when someone leaves in search of their son and gets creamed by a truck that things get truly dangerous. Get out of the way! Oh! Ooh, damn. Then all of the trucks at the station come to life, even ones that shouldn't work, forming a perimeter driving in circles around Gas World. The situation isn't as hopeless as it might seem thanks to the red-blooded American Bubba, who has a massive arsenal stashed in his basement, including a rocket launcher. Eat that, evil truck. Hell yeah, Bubba. Later, Bill attempts to get real with Brett about his hardened criminal past, which was robbing a grocery store. Super hardcore. But he acts like he's burying his soul when he tells her he felt stupid when the cops put the flashlight on him and he froze. And Brett reassures him, saying it's alright, somehow leading to them getting intimate as we catch up with them after, and Brett describes that he makes love like a hero.
You sure make love like a hero.
Heroic lovemaking. Leave it to Emilio. Nice. Nice dude. And they look out at the night sky, cuddling each other with a strange green fog overtaking it, and ever-present rocking guitar continuing to shred in the background. Well, that's how romance is done in a motion picture, folks. Have your hero admit a tiny vulnerability, even one really stupid like this, and boom! Instant romance. So Bill hatches a plan to load up with Bubba's weapons and take a sailboat to an island called Haven where no machines are allowed.
You are a genius.
I don't know about that. Maybe giving Emilio a bit too much credit there. Yeah, let's take a boat to a place. This guy is a genius! Despite Bill's awesome plan, Wanda can't take it anymore, saying they can't do this because we made them. Running outside, screaming at the trucks, "We made them! We made you!" This is another extremely iconic scene with her yelling at the trucks frantically. Her acting is so over the top here, it's amazing. And I guess this scene gives us the answer to the question on the box. We made them. I mean, obviously, since trucks didn't make us. That doesn't even make sense, Wanda! One morning, they are all awoken by a sound coming towards the diner from outside. It's a bulldozer, which promptly destroys Bubba's car. And that's all he can stand, retrieving his trusty rocket and blowing the bulldozer away. But another machine gun-mounted vehicle opens fire, killing Bubba and a few others inside. Wanda then tries her hand with the rocket, but is also shot to bits, misfiring, which still takes out another truck, but she dies. As for why it is all these vehicles are showing up at Gas World, it's because they need, well, gas, which the machine gun vehicle communicates to them by beeping its horn in Morse code. Of course it does. And so they have no choice but to refuel all the vehicles as more and more line up at the station in a drawn-out montage soundtracked by, you guessed it, God! Fuck, they rock so hard! Eventually they run out of fuel to the truck's annoyance, and while being watched by the gun vehicle, Billy surprises it, tossing a grenade, blowing it up. Then they are able to make their escape through the sewers. What is it with King and sewers? As up above, the trucks destroy the gas station, driving into it and tearing down the awning. And a truck is seen leaking oxygen, which causes an explosion, completely destroying Gas World in a fiery blaze. The group make their way towards the marina, and it turns out not all the trucks were taken out in the explosion, as we see the Green Goblin truck continues to pursue them, which is really weird to think about, because the truck could just drive away, but it seems to be going after them as revenge for blowing up the rest of his truck friends. Trucks out for revenge. Only in this film, folks. The group arrive at the arena, finding the boat they've been looking for, but one of the survivors stays behind, going back for a big shiny ring on a corpse, somehow not noticing the goblin truck lurking behind him. It accelerates, taking him down violently, and Bill fires a rocket, destroying the truck and finally stopping it in its thirst for human blood. It looks like they finally made it to safety, and when the kid Deeks asks if everything is going to be alright, Bill reassures him, "I know everything is going to be alright." Well, if you can't trust Emilio Estevez's word, who can you trust? And an ending on-screen text lets us know that everything did indeed turn out alright in the end, letting us know that 2 days after a large UFO was destroyed in space by a Russian weather satellite, 6 days later the Earth passed beyond the tail of the comet, just as predicted, thusly ending the machine's reign of terror. And the survivors sail off still survivors. The end. And we send them home with some more AC/DC. Oh, hell yeah! And with that, we've come to the conclusion of my look at Maximum Overdrive. As you can no doubt see now, it is a uniquely bizarre experience, and one that shouldn't be forgotten among Stephen King's massive output. If for no other reason, it is a special novelty for being the only feature film written and directed by King. But I actually really like the massively 80s feel that permeates into every aspect of the movie, making it into a hell of a fun watch. and so brazenly cheesy that it is definitely worth tracking down. What do you guys think of Maximum Overdrive? Have you even heard of this movie before? And what is your favorite adaptation of King's work? Are there any other forgotten gems you want me to feature on the channel? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow. Thanks for watching FoundFlix. See you next time.